I'm going to do some basic math in JavaScript. So here I have declared two numbers, num1, num2. I've declared another variable, answer, which is the sum of num1 and num2. And I already ran it. You can say I can refresh it. It says, now for some basic math, 13 is in fact the sum of my first two numbers here, num1 and num2. So we've done this with addition before, and of course you know JavaScript recognizes these as numbers because I did not put quotes around them, so it knows they're not strings. But I can do other operations. I can do multiplication, which in JavaScript is the asterisk sign. I can do, let's just do this. I'll multiply these two numbers. You can see the answer is 30. I can, of course, subtract the two numbers. And, of course, -7, 3 minus 10. And what am I missing? Did I do division yet? So I can divide, and it's 0.3. And, of course, I can combine things and make a really complicated expression if I wanted to. I could put things in parentheses, just like in math class. Num2 times 3. I can stick in some numbers in there, and maybe I'll then add a 9. And I'll subtract again num1, and I don't know. Maybe I'll put the whole thing then in parentheses and multiply it by 6. So I can do some complicated operation like that, and you can see it gives me 90. And it, just like in math class, it does the inside parentheses first. It does this division. Then it does this operation. It multiplies num2 times 3. It multiplies them together, adds 9, subtracts num1. So it follows PEMDAS, of course, just like in your regular math class. Ooh, I forgot to say it multiplied by 6. But anyway, it follows PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. It does that just like you would think of in a normal math class. The only thing sometimes that confuses students is students sometimes want to just write things next to each other like this, and they think that this will multiply. It will not. I know you've learned this from math, that if you just stick things next to each other, that means multiplication. JavaScript does not know that. If you want to multiply, you must say multiply, which is an asterisk. Otherwise, you'll get some weird errors there. So you have to say multiply. The other thing is sometimes students will say something like this. They'll think this will raise this to the second power. They'll think, I'm squaring now. No, you're not. JavaScript does not recognize that as squaring. You cannot do that. We'll get to how you square something later, but you can't just use that little caret key is what it's called to square something. So the only other operation I want to talk about is remainder division, sometimes called modulo division. And in JavaScript, you use the parentheses for that. So if I wanted to divide, let's say, num2 by num1, I can do the normal division here, and I get 3.333. If I just want the remainder of that division, I can use the percent sign, and that will give me the remainder. In other words, this will take num1 and divide it into num2 and give me the remainder. So let's see what the remainder is. The remainder is 1. In fact, 3 goes into 10 3 times with 1 left over. So that's the remainder of division. Now if you do this the other way around, sometimes this confuses students. I'm saying take num2, which is 10, divide it into num1, which is 3, and give me the remainder. Well, what's the remainder now? The remainder is 3. That's because 10 goes into 3 0 times, so the entire 3 is left over. So when you're doing this remainder business, you might want to think about it this way, that if the first number is less than the second number, in this case, let's do it again, I have 7 goes into 5 0 times, this first number will be the remainder. So I'll run it again. 5 is the remainder. So if the first number is smaller than the second number, the first number will be the remainder. If the first number is bigger, let's say, I don't know, let's make this 9. Now 7 goes into 9 once, and I have 2 left over. I think this makes more sense. So there you go, I have 2 left over. Of course, if they're the same, I will have 0 left over in this case. Or if it goes in evenly, I suppose I could have made this like 18. But I think you know how modulo division works from, I have 0 left over, 9 goes in 18 twice, with 0 left over. So in the next video, I'll talk about using some other math functions. So stay tuned and get ready to watch that one.